No ankle bracelet.
You expected her to do something soft.
Hi there folks, welcome to another marvellous video. Ever since the inception of entertainment, the show business has existed, and so has celebrity culture. These celebrities have captivated the audience's attention far beyond their respective mediums, whether it be a TV show, a sports arena, or the silver screen. One such individual that captivated the minds of households across America was Martha Stewart. This trailblazing woman would become one of the most successful entrepreneurs on the scene, especially during the 80s and the 90s, launching several ventures that catapulted her into the limelight. From her modelling and stockbroker days to gracing the homes of the Americas with her magazines, books and TV shows before her fall from grace and rise again, her life is a fascinating one. However, while we know so much about Martha Stewart, her family has largely been kept away from the limelight. Today, we are going to look into that and tell you what's the latest and greatest about Martha Stewart's husband and her children. A lot of the strength required to face the things life throws at us is provided to us by our family. How much support did Martha's husband and child provide to her during her formative and later difficult years? Was it all flowers and sunshine, or was it the opposite? What is her current relationship with them, and where are they now? To get the answer to all of these things and more, stay tuned to our video right till the end. So, without further ado, let's explore the family of this American icon. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Martha Stewart's early family life. Born as Martha Kositra to her father, Edward Kositra, and mother, Martha Kositra, of Polish descent in New Jersey in 1941, Martha was the second of 6 children. From early on, Martha had something that was capable of catching the eyes of the audience, shown by the fact that she started modelling at the tender age of 15. These modelling gigs granted her a small peek into the world of entertainment media and are what perhaps lit the sparks for her desire to pursue it later in her life. She appeared in numerous magazines and television commercials during her stint as a model. Martha would continue modelling as a part-time job all throughout college, where she would meet her first and last husband, Andrew Stewart. After graduating from college, she would embark on her journey as an institutional broker on Wall Street. During this period of her life, she settled into her own family life, which included buying their first family house in Westport, Connecticut, and giving birth to her only child, Alexis Stewart, in 1965. Seeking freedom from the daily humdrum of being a stockbroker and wishing to unleash her creativity, Martha would open her own catering business from scratch, using her homemade personal recipes. As her business grew and her recipes became famous, Martha transitioned into writing her famous cookbooks, the first of which was called Entertaining, which came out in 1982. Following the success of her first book, the rest would be considered history, as success found its way to her doorsteps one after another. From launching her own magazine and the 1992 Martha Stewart Living TV show, Martha had finally made it to the big leagues. However, with all the success came turmoil and controversy, both in her public and private life as well. Despite this, she would navigate through it all, from starting another cooking show with legendary rapper Snoop Dogg to most recently featuring for a second time as the cover model for the Sports Illustrated magazine. From her early days to now, this American icon continues to defy all odds. The story of Martha Stewart's husband, Andrew Stewart. From the Netflix documentary, we learn that Martha met Andrew while she was still in college through her classmate, Andrew's sister, while she was studying at Barnard College. After going out on a dinner date with him, Martha would form a favourable impression of the young Yale University law student, finding him to be sophisticated. Andrew, who was studying law at that time at Yale, had previously graduated from the University of Virginia and, after meeting Martha, fell equally in love with her. The two continued to see each other with increasing frequency, eventually leading to their getting married after a year in 1961. After graduating from Yale, he began working for the publishing house Harry N. Abrams before founding his own, Tabori and Chang. He would play a major role in helping Martha navigate past her stockbroking days and into her entrepreneurial ventures, thanks to his business savvy and connections. In fact, it was during one of his parties, which Martha was catering for, that she would meet the publisher who would suggest her to write her own cookbook, and the rest, as you say, is history. The couple would welcome their daughter Alexis 4 years after their marriage in 1965. However, their marriage hit rough waters after Andrew allegedly began having an illicit affair with Martha's secretary at the time, Robin Fairclough, who was living on their property at the time. The couple would go their own separate ways in 1987, with their marriage formally coming to an end through a divorce in 1990 after 29 years of being together. Unlike Martha, who has not remarried since their separation, Andrew went on to marry 2 more times. He would marry Robin Fairclough, the woman he was accused of having had an affair with in 1993, but their marriage wouldn't last either. Andrew eventually married Sheila Nelson Stewart, another publisher, in 2016. As far as we know, the two are still together and they have 5 children. Martha and Andrew remain in non-speaking terms to date. The story of Alexis Stewart. While Andrew Stewart did go on to have 5 other children with another individual later in his life, his firstborn was Alexis. She was the only child he ever had with Martha Stewart. Alexis Stewart was born in 1965, 5 years after her parents' marriage, and was raised in their Turkey Hill home in Westport. She would spend much of her early days in Manhattan and Massachusetts Berkshire before finally joining the Putney School in Vermont. There are pictures of young Alexis helping her mom in the kitchen, and it looks like an overall healthy and warm relationship, but things would sour after her parents divorced each other, and the circumstances of their separation would become known to friends and family. Alexis would graduate with a degree in the English language from her mother's alma mater, Barnard College. Alexis would publish a memoir, Whateverland, learning to live here later in her life, and it would paint a damning picture regarding the parenting skills of her folks, and especially of Martha in particular. Alexis would make it known in no uncertain terms that growing up as a daughter of Martha Stewart was by no means an easy or fun experience. She would say, and we quote, "Martha does everything better. You can't win. If I didn't do something perfectly, I had to do it again. I grew up with a glue gun pointed at my head." Tales of Christmas in the Stewart household after Andrew had departed also seemed to have been a grim affair, even if, to the outside world, it didn't seem so. Alexis would recount, "She used to make me wrap my own presents. She would hand me things right before Christmas and say, 'Now wrap these but don't look inside.'" Despite these statements made by herself against her mother, Alexis would dedicate the book to her. From the outside looking in, their relationship has had its fair share of highs and lows, and according to someone close to them, both women share a cordial relationship, with Alexis not enjoying the criticism sometimes her mother has had to endure. Their relationship was further mended when Martha would be there to support her during her numerous attempts to conceive a child. Alexis is very open about the various procedures she underwent and the money she spent in order to have children. Alexis would finally be blessed with children in 2011 after 5 years of undergoing fertility treatments. Almost exactly a year later, she would conceive yet again through similar means and welcome a second child into her family. Throughout all this, she claims her mother has always been her biggest supporter. She was married to a man called John Cutie in 1997 in a very private ceremony with just 5 guests. However, she would share her mother's luck regarding marriage, separated from Cutie in 2003 and finally divorced him in 2004. Needless to say, after, as we have just discussed, the two had no children together. One thing to note is that Cutie acted as her mother's trial lawyer during her infamous insider trading case that made waves across the nation. Alexis is apparently a phenomenal cook and baker, having learned the ropes from Martha herself. Both her parents expressed some guilt for not having been the best parents and putting her through all of their mess during her formative years. Her father believes that he never got to clear the air with Alexis regarding his divorce, which, according to him, led to him being misunderstood and estranged from her. Where are they now? Starting with Andrew, as stated earlier, after divorcing Martha, he would marry Robin Fairclough, with whom he would once again experience a failed marriage. He is currently married to his 3rd wife, Sheila Nelson Stewart, with whom he has fathered 5 children. He married her in 2016, and they currently spend their time in their homes in Pasadena, California, and Lake Champlain in Vermont. The two are happily married, having welcomed 3 grandchildren into their lives, with the newest one having joined them at the end of 2023. Andrew works as a publisher emeritus at his wife's publishing house, Fieldstones. As for Alexis, she went on to have her own TV and radio show. She was the co-host of a radio show called Whatever with Alexis and Jennifer on her mother's radio channel. The show would run from 2005 to 2010. It was a variety talk show where the duo would talk about everything ranging from lifestyle to their personal lives. The radio show would later be converted into a TV show and would make its debut on the Hallmark channel. The two women, i.e. Jennifer and Alexis, would create another TV show called Whatever Martha, which would go on to air for 2 seasons on the Fine Living channel. They would parody her mum's old TV show and try and recreate the food and recipes. Currently, as a mother of 2, she lives with her mum Martha in the posh Upper West Side neighbourhood in Belnord after purchasing a luxury duplex worth $12 million. A fun fact regarding their choice of residence is that the building stars as the main site for Hulu's hit comedy mystery series Only Murderer in the Building. The two continue to remain estranged from Andrew Stewart. Martha Stewart, despite being an icon for an entire nation, is human, just like us, making her flawed, and while some love her or hate her, no one can deny her. From a failed marriage to raising a young woman who was at odds with her, Martha may not have been the perfect wife or mother. What one thinks about that is ultimately up to the individual. While she might seemingly paint a painful picture regarding discovering her husband's infidelity, she, too, was no less guilty. In fact, according to some, Andrew allegedly already knew about her illicit extramarital tryst with someone she called an attractive Irishman, along with having cheated on her husband during their honeymoon with a stranger. She has stated that getting a divorce was extremely painful for her, as she was the first in her family to have done so, and the fact that she and Andrew had not spoken since was even more heart-wrenching. But she also stated that she did not intend to break the ice, as she wanted to move on with her life. She would go on to notably date the legendary actor Sir Anthony Hopkins, but the relationship would bear no fruit, as she said in an interview that she could not bear to be with him, as all he did was remind her of Hannibal Lecter, one of his iconic characters, who is a cannibalistic serial killer. Regarding Alexis and her relationship, as we have already discussed, despite all the hardships and hurt feelings, a sense of maturity seems to have settled down upon both women. This has led to them putting aside perceived hurts, and their primary focus now seems to be raising her 2 grandsons, along with carrying on their own ventures. Martha Stewart will always be one of the greatest modern-day American icons, as flawed and real as they come. In the world of Hollywood and show business, where celebrities will do anything for clout to stay relevant, clout and fame instead seem to chase Martha, one of the strongest and most influential women of all time, not just in America, but around the globe. The legend of Martha Stewart will endure long after she is gone. Time just passes by when we are in your company, and so it is that we have come to the end of the video. Thank you for sticking with us right to the end, and we hope we have been able to answer any questions you might have had while piquing your interest in the topic. We cover all types of videos regarding popular culture on our channel, from anime to movies and TV shows. There is something to suit whatever you might be looking for at the moment, so be sure to check out the rest of our channel once you are done here. For now though, we have to say goodbye. We hope to catch you very soon on our next video. Until then, stay safe and stay marvelous, folks.